Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Back to the Quiet Perspective, the channel that gives a voice to all the quiet majority people that we don't think gets enough voice out here. I'm your host, co-host, Boy, also as Star Lord, and we have Joey the Big Worm.
What is up, everybody? How's it going?
All right, so as we know, we're going to tackle all kinds of topics. Today's topics, we're going to be talking about the latest controversy about the Trump-Ukraine whistleblower scandal, and something that's kind of near and dear to my heart is the Rambo movie Last Blood controversy about how terrible it is. So let's jump right into it. The Trump-Ukrainian whistleblower issue. Joey, I'm sure you've heard about this one. What are your thoughts on just your right off the top of your head thoughts?
Well, just right off the top of my head, I can tell you what it is. Basically, they're tired of talking about the, Russian thing that was going on, Russian collusion. This is going to be the next thing, I guess, that they go after and beat a dead horse on for the next 2 years.
Absolutely. So, for those of you who aren't aware, is apparently a whistleblower came forward and said somewhere July 10th, 5th, somewhere, President Trump made a call to the Ukrainian president and was pretty much urging, nudging, pushing him to do an investigation into Biden, who's running for president now, running for the primary, wants an investigation into him dealing with his son. And apparently this is causing a hoopla, kind of like the Russian collusion thing, about trying to have other countries interfere in their election. So right off the bat, my initial thought is, who cares? And I don't mean that in a way like who cares what's going on. It's like the president. So the claim is that Biden, as vice president, actually went to the Ukrainian president and said, "Hey, you're investigating my son into some illegal gas stuff he's going on. We're not going to release these funds to you," which was like $1.5 billion or something, to Ukraine unless you fire the prosecutor who is going after my son. Biden has admitted it. It's caught on audio. So right there, you can kind of see the quid pro quo, whatever, pay for play thing. That's what Trump wants investigated. I don't see a problem with that.
Well, I can assure you that if they had audio proof of Trump saying something like that and doing it, you best believe they'd be investigating it. They, like I said, about not to keep bringing it up, but they spent, I don't know how many, what was it, 40, $50 million in 2 years, over 2 years investigating Russian collusion, and they came up with nothing.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
Joe Biden, like you said, Joe Biden's on audio recorded admitting that this happened, that he did it. And from what I read on that, I haven't heard the audio, but from what I read about the audio, it's almost like he was pretty much laughing about it. He thought it was,
And he was.
he thought it was
I've
funny.
actually heard the audio, and he actually he boasts himself as like he the Ukrainian president into firing this prosecutor. And to me, the irony is just y'all were looking for Russian Trump collusion, and you literally have Biden caught doing this, and they don't even bat an eye.
Yeah.
It's not even being put out by the mainstream news.
Well,
we won't hear about it in conservative channels.
Well, you're not going to either, and the reason why, of course, Joe Biden is the front runner right now for the Democrat presidential nominees.
Yeah,
they're not going to be covering that. It's just like anything else that doesn't work for the left's agenda, whatever that agenda of the day may be. So
yeah, the disgusting double standard.
Yeah.
So, and then the second part of, other than the fact that they're completely ignoring it, is it not the job of our leaders, our president, to go to foreign countries, foreign allies, and gathering, especially if a crime or some sort of incident takes place on their soil? Is he not supposed to go to them and say, "Hey, this happened. What can you tell us?"
Well, yeah, it's you would think that would be the first thing the president would do. Is is the United States president only supposed to contact foreign leaders when it's something good?
Exactly. So I'm not even seeing the issue here with what he did, assuming it's factual, which I think it is. I think you probably. Uh, I don't understand why there's a problem. I wouldn't care which president did it. That's your job. It's not like you're saying, "Hey, come spy on him." He's literally just saying, "What do you have right now? You know, what are you talking about?"
Well, it sounds like he's trying to get the facts before he, tries to do anything or goes on Twitter and says something out of turn.
Yeah, which
Unlike the mainstream media, when as soon as they get anything they think they have on Trump, that's the headlines, all over the news for a week before they finally retract it, and then it's too late because everybody's already
yeah.
heard the lies.
Well, that's also the one boomerang about this whole thing. They brought this whole thing whistle, and now it's already boomerang back on because now we're hearing about what Biden did and with his son and everything. So they kind of screwed the pooch on this on themselves.
Well, and being it's Joe Biden, does that really surprise you? I mean, we've all heard what this guy's been saying at these debates and, at these rallies and stuff. And it's like, man, he is, as far from a conservative standpoint, he is the gift that keeps on giving. I
He
mean,
really is.
you
He
cannot
really is.
ask for a better person to be going against your guy.
I do look forward to the first, and if it is Biden, I do look forward to the first debate between him and Trump because this man cannot say anything that isn't. I mean, if he goes off, and don't get me wrong, President Trump, I think is a terrible public speaker. He's just not good at it. But Biden,
He's bad when he doesn't follow a script.
yeah,
Which is 90% of the time. But I think what was it, the July 4th speech he gave or whatever, damn good speech, but he
yeah,
was following a script. Now you put him in a debate situation, well, he's going to say some stuff we'd probably rather he didn't, but at least he knows what year it is, what country he's in, and who he's talking to. So
uh,
there is
I
that.
think I think the problem with Biden is what comes out of his mouth is often what he actually thinks, and we know, a lot of them on the left side don't want to reveal exactly what they feel. They want you to, hear what they want you to hear.
Yeah.
So, on that note, like I said, I think to sum that up, I think it's an egregious hypocrisy on the left to not point out, not even focus on what Trump was going after. And two, they're going after him for doing his job. I don't see an issue with anything he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, my thoughts on it is show me in the laws where the president can't do that. Show me that, and then we'll have something to talk about. This sounds just like another one of these things that all these leftists are just mad at him about or offended because he's doing it, and it's show me where it's illegal, I guess is what I'm saying, and then we'll
Right.
talk. Other than that, you can't do anything about it.
Yep. I feel the way about it that I think President Trump summed it up nicely when he said it's a no hunt.
Yeah. Yeah. This is their next Russian collusion.
Yeah.
That's what this is going to end up being.
So on to our next topic, which I've been wanting to talk this one for. Rambo: Last Blood, the new Sylvester Stallone chapter Rambo series. I went and watched it, loved it. Watch it again. Big Worm here hasn't seen it yet.
I
To give
want
a
to see
quick,
it.
oh, you
You
need
know,
to see it.
yeah.
It's fantastic.
I know I'm going to like it just based off the Rotten Tomato scores. I mean,
So the synopsis of the movie, uh, if you don't mind me giving some of it away, Joey.
no, yeah, go
Spoiler
ahead.
alert.
Yeah.
John Rambo is
Does
back
somebody
in
die?
Arizona. I didn't want to break it to you, but yeah.
Oh, no.
John Rambo has kind of settled back into a normal-ish life. He lives in Arizona. He's gone all nutbag and has a whole set of underground tunnels underneath his property. And he has I guess it's his niece, kind of lives with him. Her dad left, and he raises her. She's Mexican. She's turning 18, 19. She's about to go to college. She wants to go reconnect with her father. She wants to find out why. He says it's a bad idea. She goes down to Mexico to find him. Long story short, she ends up in the sex trade. Some sex traders, some cartel He goes to retaliate, and then they retaliate back, and you have all-out war between Rambo and this cartel. Sounds pretty straightforward. Sounds like an action movie. Sounds like a Rambo, right?
And it also sounds like something that could plausibly happen, except for the person actually going to Mexico and fighting it out with them. I
Right.
mean,
And it does happen.
yeah.
So wherein lies the problem?
Well, I'm not really sure. I haven't seen it yet, but like I said, Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 28%, and the actual viewers on Rotten Tomatoes that have seen the movie and what their viewer score is on there is, what did I say it was?
It's
86.
84%.
Yeah, 84. So again, that's what I'm kind of getting at. And then you've got Roger Ebert. I saw he didn't like the movie. All these big movie critics are trashing it. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to enjoy it. You know.
Yep. So like so many things here in politics, we try to do several different topics, but politics are life now, especially in this day and age. So I'm going to read a Matthew Raza, Salon.com. Says it is less an escapist action movie station. Most notorious sentences from Donald Trump's presidential campaign announcement speech. And he is referring to the fact that when Trump said some illegals come across, they're rapists, drug addicts, and just bad people. But there are some good people, is what he said. And most of the consensus among the critics is a Trumpian movie, anti-Mexican, we hate immigrants, period. And I gotta say, I watched the movie one time. Did I feel politically motivated by it? I didn't feel like I hated Mexico for you hate the bad guy, which is bad guys, a cartel that's killing and raping people. I don't understand.
If you go into a Rambo movie expecting a political type movie, that's where you went wrong right off the bat. That's not what this is about.
Yeah, I would say that's the issue with most of what they get. You can make anything with.
Well, yeah. I mean, well, here's my thing too. And here, we talked about the hypocrisy of what we were talking about earlier. And here's the hypocrisy with movies. Okay. I can't, what was the name of the movie? And they finally pulled the plug on it at the very last second. They were just fixing to release it. It was, I can't remember. It was The Hunt or something like that. And it was about
I know what you're talking about.
elite left leaning, Democrat types, and they were actually going to be hunting Trump supporters.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that was what the viewer was led to believe. That was literally what the description of the movie said.
Yeah.
They said these elite Democrats or left-leaning people are going to be hunting Trump supporters. That's something political in a movie that somebody could get offended about.
Yeah. And I'm not saying censor any movie.
No, yeah.
You can't have opinions for anyway. But this movie that you're talking about, was revered and people couldn't wait for it to come out. But Rambo is shunned, and it's, the elites are given, thumbing their nose at it, and it's absolutely ridiculous. The movie was violent. It was gruesome, quite frankly. If you had some crazy nut Green Beret go try to save his niece, this was Rambo gets his ass kicked a couple times. It's really, really down to earth. It's not for the faint of heart. The lady next to me several times was like, "Oh my God!" I'm looking at her like, "What did you think you came here to watch?" I mean, she was really shocked.
It's a Rambo movie. I mean, you're expecting explosions and people getting killed, and I mean, what? I just don't understand why somebody would go to. I think a lot of these people too, that especially these movie critics that are trashing the movie, they don't like movies like this to begin with. They went into it not liking it before they even saw the first 5 minutes of it. They had it in their mind what the movie was going to be, and it didn't matter what the movie had in it, to be honest.
And to that point, I gotta say, you got to be able to look at things objective, political, music. You got to be able to look at things objectively. I can go, like, for instance, The Notebook. It's a good movie. It's not my kind of movie, and I don't like it, but I can still say it's a good movie.
I think
You
most
know?
women love that movie. I know my wife does. And it's the big joke when it's playing on TV and I walk in and she's watching it and she'll look at me and, "Hey, you want to come watch The Notebook?" and just laugh. She knows I'm not going to watch that movie, but guess what? She continues to watch her movie. She enjoys it. I'm not forced to watch it. I go do something else.
So what you're telling me is you absolutely hate the
Yeah.
and it's garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
exactly.
so you're a professional critic then.
Right.
Outstanding.
Yeah. If I don't like
Now,
it, it's stupid, or it's
yeah,
bad.
and that's the issue here. You know, they want to tote the line of what they think is the majority out there, or they want to be edgy. I don't know what you want to. They want to be a part of this latest Hollywood thing.
Well, that and it ties into what you and I have talked about before, how just our this culture in general, it's like fashionable now to hate something.
Oh, that is definitely a part of it. Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's like if one person, one important, and I say that with air quotes, one important movie critic trashes this movie, then everybody's going to jump on the bandwagon just because it's a cool thing to do, you know?
yeah. What irritates me about it is how politicized it. You know, not even just so much hate, whatever, but how they politicize the way they've written their reviews. It's like a bunch of women and children are coming across a border, and Rambo's just mowing them down with an M60. That
Yeah.
is not what the movie. That is not the message. I mean, hell, there is no message. It's a Rambo. It's got nothing to do with Mexicans, quote unquote. It's got to do with bad people earn the sex trade. It's
Which
no
again,
more than that to
which
read into
again,
that.
that's happening every day. People are, young girls and kids are they're getting kidnapped and put into that. So they're taking something that's actually happening, and people are acting like they just made this up out of thin air and it's being offensive to Mexico. Well,
Yeah,
no, it's something that's really happening that they're including as part of the storyline. So I don't even know why you could get mad at that.
and like you said, if it was Rambo against, I don't know, some conservative groups or a church, the movie would be acclaimed a little bit differently, I would imagine.
Yeah, and it's who are the critics? They're we're taught this is supposed to be the entertainment section of our podcast here, but it all goes back to politics. Just like you said earlier, everything's political now.
Everything now is, and it's absolutely ridiculous. And it's to the point where you can't even enjoy without politics being. And I'll give you the prime example: uh, Black Panther. Black Panther was a good movie. It's a great movie as far as I'm concerned. I'm a fan. It was not the greatest movie in the world. It was not the greatest Marvel because it was the black movie, quote unquote. It was everything to everybody, and if you didn't like it, you were a racist.
Yeah,
And I, movie shouldn't be like that. This is about entertainment. This is about releasing yourself, some fiction, and just enjoying yourself. It's about escaping, and you can't even do that now because you're labeled a racist for enjoying a movie or
yeah,
not.
yeah, exactly. And again, it's the Hollywood elites, and obviously 99.9% of those people are really far left leaning. So that's what you get in a lot of movies these days.
Yep. So, in conclusion, so if I had to give it a out of 10, I would say Rambo's 8.5 out of 10, maybe even 9. I thought it was a great, if it's the last one, it was a good send off. I definitely recommend seeing it. I definitely recommend you see it in mind. And if you disagree with me, more power to you. But I don't think anybody in their right mind can look at it and think this is a political movie. So go see it. I loved it. I
Yeah.
recommend it.
Yeah, and again, I haven't seen the movie yet, but I will be seeing it, and I'm looking forward to it. So
And we'll do a follow up on that after you pop back in here and let's talk about it with everyone
yeah,
just
we'll do a
briefly.
little recap.
So now we're going to do something new, something I'm excited out. We're going to call this our social media. What we're going to do essentially to cover some current events and just our current interest, going to kind of scroll through our Facebook here and just go through our topics that pop up and just talk about it and see if anything catches our eye, something we can talk.
I guarantee you I will find something pretty damn quick. And I'm not going to mention any names, not going to do that, but
All right, so I follow a lot of Star Wars stuff right off the top. Bob Iger, who's one of the high guys Disney, I believe, says George Lucas was disappointed by Star Wars Awakens. I don't care. Why does it matter? Why do we care what has been have to say about it? It's no longer. Who cares what he says? Personal opinion. Oh, here's a good one. The new Joker coming. The headline reads, "Is Joker a dangerous movie?" This is in reference to the fact that the Joker is a psychopath, sociopath who viciously murders people. That's how he is in the comic book. From what I've been reading, the reviews are 50-50, just like Rambo. People are complaining that the movie is worried about making copycats, and people are going to watch it and idolize the violence and yada, yada. My issue here is what? We're not allowed to make movies? How about we hold the people accountable who are doing the stuff? I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous.
I got one.
What do you got?
This is just a meme. It's our good buddy Robert Francis. Some people call him Beto O'Rourke. It's a picture of him, and it says, "How stupid has it become? A felon who is not allowed to possess a firearm of any type is now running for president and is protected by men with guns using your tax dollars while simultaneously running his pathetic mouth about taking your constitutionally protected guns and a house-to-house confiscation using men with guns." That pretty much says it.
Yeah, right back to our first topic. Irony.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, here's another one, and I'm embarrassed because this woman is from Texas, and that's where we're at. Congressman woman Sheila Jackson Lee is mocked for saying that AR-15s are as heavy as 10 moving boxes and fire 50 caliber rounds.
God,
There's nothing correct about any of that. That's where do you go? How can they be this far along in their quest to take people's guns and not know the most basic things
not
about
even be
the
correct
guns?
about it.
Yeah.
If you're going to talk about something and delegate and legislate about something, you should know what the hell you're talking about.
Well, yeah, and that kind of worries me. That kind of leads me to wonder what else don't these people know about that they're making laws about,
Yes, well, when Biden's still talking about record players, he's a little behind the curve. Here's an interesting entertainment fact. I love Supernatural. My wife loves it. Sam, the big, tall monster dude from Supernatural, Jared Padalecki, is going to be starring in the reboot of Walker, Texas Ranger.
I saw that.
That excites me, especially as a Texan. And on that note, I'm going to end the social media minute with this meme that popped up on. Let me try to paint a picture of you. There's a picture on top of an AR-15, and on the picture, on the bottom, there's a picture of Kurt Russell. The top says, "Give me one reason why you need an AR-15." And Kurt Russell responds, "Give me one reason why what I own is any of your fucking business."
And that's pretty much the way we think.
That pretty much sums it up for me.
Yeah.
So this is Roy Star-Lord signing off for The Quiet Perspective.
And I'm Big Worm 380, and we will see you guys in the next one.